All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Got the round 2 reaction here for you for both the Puerto Rico Open and the WGC Workday. It was a pretty fun event for the Workday. Gonna touch on the Victor Hovland thing there. Hole 9, got him in. It was kind of funny to see. Kind of brought it back to everyone else. Every golfer kind of knows that feeling, so it's kind of cool to see a tour player do that. Then we'll touch on the Puerto Rico Open. Looking pretty good for that as well. So let's get into it, guys. All right, so first though, I do want to talk about kind of the round 2 showdown picks that we were on. DJ, Harris English, Justin Thomas, Daniel Berger, Bryson DeChambeau, and Will Zalatoris. So these were the guys that, just statistically speaking, were due to have a much better round. And just kind of overall looking at it, we saw that there were some guys that, play a little bit longer with Bryson and DJ. That you thought that they would be a little bit better. They would think out their shots a little bit more. And we saw that happen. Bryson has the low round on the day going. When I started this video, JT was doing pretty well. I think it was like -4. Harris English, I believe, finished -4, -3. Same thing for DJ. So, it's pretty easy to see that these guys would go out and have much better rounds. And we had some pretty easy targets to go off of again for round 3. Probably actually a little bit easier in round 3 than it was for round 2. And then just kind of recapping some other stuff here real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so the core plays here all did really well. Cameron Piercy, he's contending right now. He could easily go out and win. Justin Suh. So this is where I don't get it, guys. So I had a top 10 showdown lineup for the Puerto Rico Open, and that's like the third time in the last 3 weeks. Justin Suh was pretty much chalk for the main site. I think it was like 25 or so percent owned, and then he was 5% owned today, and people still aren't able to get this logic. Like, because a dominant play like that, a play that everyone else is pretty much on, a just high owned play, has a bad round 1, that normally means that you want to go out and play those guys in round 2 because they're going to go out and do to regress. People haven't got that. He was 5% owned. He was like the third highest scorer on the slate. For me, that was an easy plug and play. Even as price point 9.2 or whatever, 9.5, it was just, he was the first guy into my builds for that. None Emiliano Grillo made the cut. He's just been a safe play. I would expect those two to kind of go out and have better rounds this weekend as well. Also cheering for Rob Oppenheim, Lucas Glover as well. Those two are in contention. And one of those 5 guys can go out and win, it's going to be a very solid Puerto Rico Open. Lots of 6 for 6 builds. And then I just thought this tweet was funny. I kind of just want to pull it up here real quick. PGA Tour, I think everyone that saw this tweet was like, guys, you definitely just jinxed him. He's going to go out and have another, bad second round and miss the cut. It just seemed likely for Robert Garrigus there. Pretty laughable, actually, as a whole there. So let's get into the showdown picks for round 3. Well, also Victor Hovland, I will pull up his shot tracker here as well real quick, because this is a thing of beaut. I'm gonna have to find it. Let me type it up. Tour cast Victor Hovland, because it was a thing of beauty. He struggled. Let's put it that way. Short and simple is that he struggled. Give me a second here. I'm trying to find it. Hovland. 9th hole. All right, let me pull it back up. All right, so pulling it up on the 3D, on the tour cast for Victor Hovland, if it's going to let me. It was something that we all would do, for sure. He didn't take his medicine. So his second shot ended up over here. Instead of taking a drop, instead of taking the risk out, he's like, no, I got this. Freaking puts it all the way across the bunker there. Kind of unlucky lie. He didn't really have a shot. He had to go like down, straight down on the golf ball. Shanks it all the way back over to the side here for his shot 4. Had to take a drop. Then his that shot ended up rolling down the hill back to him. And then he almost chipped it in, and then he made a nice clutch putt there. He actually could have had he had a quadruple bogey. He could have had whatever +5 is. So that was just fun as a whole. But now, all right, we'll get into the showdown picks for round 3. I just, round 2 is fun. It's a fun tournament so far, just because stuff like that can happen. All right, so pulling it up, it is in good shape right now with Brooks Koepka in first place. So we are kind of seeing, though, that these smarter, kind of more accurate ball striker golfers are playing well. We look at Billy Horschel, that's typically what he is as a player. Cameron Smith, same thing. Tony Finau, Colin Morikawa, Webb Simpson, Patrick Reed had a bad hole as well. Kevin Kisner as well. So I have a few lineups going with Webb Simpson, Kevin Kisner, because I thought that, the course could play one or two ways. I already touched on this, and that it would suit those two guys really well. And we're kind of seeing that. It's much more of a, I don't want to say second shot golf course, but it's just a smart golfer's paradise pretty much. And then looking at Brooks Koepka, guys. So in terms of regression, Brooks Koepka, I wouldn't expect it. Honestly, I would maybe even think about, if you guys didn't bet him on the outright, which 9 to 5 did, you could think about doing it on the weekend. So he's really struggling in round 1 and kind of round 2, but his best 2 rounds have been round 2 and round 3. So pretty much when he's made the cut, I know this is a no-cut event, but when he's made the cut, he's gone out and played well throughout the weekend. And obviously he's playing well right now. So do not be shocked if he goes out and plays well. Kind of the same thing for Cameron Smith. Billy Horschel is going to fall off here eventually. I don't expect him to contend. Tony Finau's best rounds are his first and second round. I hope he pulls through and wins. Colin Morikawa struggles in round 4, so probably not going to be a weekend pick for you if you want to go that route. Webb Simpson, I fully expect him to be in contention. Patrick Reed, I'm expecting him to kind of fall off. Kevin Kisner, though, guys, so it might not be a bad outright bet for you guys if you guys want someone on the weekend. So he ranks 6th and 7th in round 3 and round 4 scoring. He's a guy that I was on a decent amount. He was a high exposure play for 9 to 5 this week. Top 20 in the model. He looks like a solid play. A solid bet to go out and get outright. He is a smart golfer, and this is a course that sets up well for him. A good example of regression to mean is Abraham Ancer. Abraham Ancer was really chalked, didn't really have the best first round, went out and really played well in the second round. And that's kind of just one of those things where you kind of think that many people can't be wrong, pretty much. So it's just an averages thing. Everything will tend to, average out. It will tend to regress. That's what we saw with Abraham Ancer. So who can we expect to do that? Who can we expect to do kind of the Bryson for round 3 or throughout the weekend? We'll kind of figure that out here. Let's go. Well, I will say, just based off of kind of players that struggled today, Xander Schauffele, I think he's going to be a tremendous bounce back candidate. I think he's going to have a much better round. You look at Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm really didn't play bad if you're watching it. Just a few bad holes here and there. He's going to have a much better round as well. I don't want to say book it, but you can pretty much book that. Ryan Palmer, he's another one. Joaquin Niemann. Those are all guys who are good stat fits that really just kind of struggled in round 2 that are going to have a much better round 3. But let's just look it over here to see which players here are going to have, much better rounds in round 3. So sort by round 3. And, I'm actually going to sort it by current place up here because I want to see which players. We'll do both. We'll do both ends. We'll do the whole picture. All right. The problem is that there's a lot of players from the European Tour that didn't have any stats, and that's why I was struggling to pull it in. So we'll pull it up here on this screen so that everyone can see. All right, so we got to pull it up. So just looking at it real quick, scroll down. Sergio Garcia is a pretty good round 3 player. That's a little bit surprising to me. Let's just reduce this a little bit more. All right, so there we go. So Sergio Garcia, Kevin Kisner, like I mentioned, I think I don't want to say I would lock him in, but I really think Kevin Kisner, round 3 is going to be a great play for you. Ryan Palmer, going to be a solid play for you. Justin Thomas, probably going to be another, decent round 3 play, I would say. Then Webb Simpson, those would probably be my go-to plays for round 3. And then let's just kind of sort it by players that are still, back in the backpack so far. and then see what they're going to do. So Harris English, maybe. Daniel Berger probably going to have a better round. Carlos Ortiz, this would be kind of the round that you would go with him on, is this round. Yeah, Terrell Hand's going to fall off. Adam Scott probably going to fall off. Pretty much it. I kind of want to see maybe possible weekend guys. All right, so we're going to get round 4 in there as well. All right, so we're going to see who are the best weekend picks possibly. Sergio might have a surge. I doubt that. I don't see that. Kevin Kisner, Palmer, maybe Kevin Na. I doubt that though. We'll sort it by round 4 rank. There we go. So yeah, Kisner, English probably going to have a much better push throughout the weekend. Joaquin Niemann, I fully expect Joaquin Niemann to have a much better round. So Harris English, Joaquin Niemann, those guys are both good staff hits. They were both core plays this week. They haven't really had a spectacular round just yet. That means that they're due to have a good round. So Niemann, Palmer, going to play those guys a lot. Probably same thing for Xander Schauffele. I think he's going to be a decent play. Maybe a weekend play if you guys are doing the weekend bets. I would do that. Webb Simpson, quality weekend play. Sanjay M as well, quality weekend play as well. So we got a pretty good picture of what to expect. I do expect Brooks to, probably close this one out in all honesty. I'd be a little bit shocked if he doesn't. I do expect Webb to be in contention. I expect Kisner to be in contention. Louis Oosthuizen, he's a guy that could contend. I just couldn't end up on him personally. Patrick Reed, I just don't see him winning. I feel like he's going to have a few shots, kind of like he did this round, where it's just going to do him in. And, that's the worry there with him. Tony Finau, I hope he contends. And then players that I expect to kind of make a weekend push are going to be, Bryson as well. He played well. He had that regression day. Sanjay, I do expect to play better. Xander, I expect to have a weekend push. Palmer and Niemann. And then probably John Rahm as well. Although those have been his worst 2 rounds, round 3 and round 4. So, definitely interesting there. Carlos Ortiz, round 3 does stand out for sure. Yeah, we got a pretty good idea of what we're going to do for round 3 here. I do want to just say Puerto Rico Open picks, probably not going to be doing much for round 3 showdown for the Puerto Rico Open, just because we already did the job, got a lot of lineups 6 out of 6 in a good position. Don't really have to push it because, one, we don't really have that many regression targets. Players finished how we thought that they would. It's just a matter of, hey, we need to have that good weekend push there on the Puerto Rico Open to have that spectacular week, which is looking pretty good. I'm expecting a much better round 3 for the WGC Workday as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing.